Hello, 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 and welcome to the Quever channel. I am Jason, your host, and we are just waking up, just getting up, just starting to do bits and pieces. Have my medication first, and then we'll chat. And while I'm making the food in the yay. So that's done. We've got a lot to talk about, but to start with, I will do the thing that takes the longest. I think that with my meal today, I'm going to have pie and hash browns. Yeah, I'm going to still have mash and carrots. That's the main thingy, but I think I'm going to put some pie and some hash browns in the air fryer. I think that sounds like a plan. I think we've got a plan. We have a plan. Good morning, afternoon, evening, every time. My kitchen's a bit of a mess at the moment because he's decided by wisdom that I needed to take apart some computers and rebuild some computers. This here is another computer. This is the one that's going to be set up in the living room media PC on the main computer. That's brown. Get one pie. Chicken bacon pie. We've got a chicken bacon pie. Chicken bacon pie. Chicken bacon pie. Chicken bacon pie. One chicken bacon pie, which is going to go in the air fryer. And one frozen pie that needs to do. And two hash browns. That seems like a reasonable thing. So this is what we're setting up first. That bit away. Off and put the egg on top of my cookie. Yeah, there we are. The pie and the hash browns are now cooking. I don't worry about them, which is good because my brain's frazzled. Hello there, Zernex. Yeah, I tried Tower. I'm going to try it again. It was a bit weird because there lots of things that didn't make sense to me, but I could see me enjoying it. First thing I'm going to do some potatoes. Do the potatoes, then we do the dog's food, then we sit down and chat. One more. Put potatoes straight in. So, potatoes are on there. Get that going. The potatoes are going. The potatoes are going and the potatoes are coming back. Hello there, table cat. We're just melon. So Kibble Cat, the server is up. It seems the server works best if we just do a reboot everything. I might set it to automatically reboot every 24 hours instead of me turning me off and on. That might be an idea. So we're going to just put some mix there. And some carrots. We'll get all this done and then we'll chat. The doggies are going to need their food. So that bit's done. Now we're going to get the doggies food. It's doggy food time. Okay. Doggies, get foodie. And then I can sit down because everything will pretty much be done. We can talk about bits and pieces, like this computer here. It has 2 graphics cards in at the moment. That's why. But the last of the little hot dog sausages for the dogs. Chicken this time, they can have chicken wet food. So then Beck's coming tomorrow to check on the dogs. Give them both a good check over, make sure they're okay, make sure no problems for them, no real issues. So, put the doggy's food out. Doggies. A little bit of water in. There we are. Dog food. Don't bother telling me to. Yeah, potatoes are done. I will read through all that later on, so I know what I'm doing, because at the moment... Okay. Now what we've got here is a computer that I put together last night instead of going to sleep. This was a bad idea. And so, it is based on the 4790 16 gig. Got a couple of graphics cards in because I'm trying to full check something. So at the moment we're going to turn it on and see if it works. I built it while I was half asleep last night. Instead of going to sleep. I should have gone to sleep. I really should have gone to sleep. But I didn't because my brain decided it wanted to mess with the computer. So let's turn it on and see if it works. You know what I think I've got to do? I've got to turn on the power supply at the back. Yep, I think that's what we need to. There, it's working now. The little light went on. So I was going to sell these parts, but I thought, hey, now I can put together an Amy kit. It beeped. So let's see if it's going to work. Let's turn on this old 16-inch monitor and see if it works. No signal. Oh, no, we have got a signal. PC Specialist. It's working. We are past the BIOS. Let's see if we get into Windows. If we get into Windows, then it's a good thing. Getting into Windows is a good thing. Doesn't have any connection to the internet at the moment. Doesn't have a wireless in it. Working. So I have 2 computers on my desk. I have the Steam Deck, which is just doing its awesome bit of awesomeness. So let's see. It's running off the small graphics card at the moment. I'm doing a few tests. I need to see whether or not my 970X is damaged or still working. Because it's plugged in, but it isn't actually the one where the display is coming through. And I just want to see whether it's doing anything. You got an email. They're an X-Site. Remember, don't fill the chat up completely. Let other people talk. Oh yeah. I don't have a keyboard connected to this system. I don't have a keyboard connected to this system. I can solve that. I can solve that. There's a keyboard over there. Where's my keyboard? Let's put this in somewhere. Yeah, that bird. Yeah. So, keyboard works. Remember, this computer's running on a mechanical drive, hard drive. Doesn't have an SSD, so it's kind of slow starting up. So we're going to go into Windows, and we're going to... That Windows seems to be slightly off-center and not completely in the right. So we don't see everything. Wrong mouse. We'll let it do its own thing. We'll let it do its own thing for a little bit because it's a bit squiffy. It's a bit squiffy at the moment. I mean, we're missing part of the screen on this monitor. And messing about with this monitor is, well, it's not a monitor, it's a TV. It's a little 16-inch TV that I use for testing. And so it doesn't look too bad. But the big problem, you're not going to be able to update Steam because we're not connected to the internet. I'm sorry, we are not connected to the internet. You shall not update the Steam. Okay, so we need to sort out this. So, oops to daisy, oops to daisy. Nothing major. Nothing major. Stop trying to get into Discord as well. You won't be able to get into Discord or anything. There's nothing there. There's no internet. You can't do it. I know you want to, but you've got to understand. What we want to do first is sort out this menu. We have a menu system here. Unfortunately, it doesn't have a remote this one. Hello, Rich. Well, good morning. So we're going to just try to... Okay, so okay. No, that isn't good. Okay, we need to... Okay, position reset. Language picture format. Okay. That's not good. I think we're not going to get a very good picture on this. It's okay, we know what we're doing. We do know what we're doing. We're pressing some buttons on top of here. Okay, so. Okay, picture mode. We want to change picture mode. No, we want to do it that way. We want to change picture mode. It's very hard to do with these buttons. Let's see if we've got gaming mode or anything. Personal, movie, sports, mild, gaming. That isn't going to help much. Okay, so DNR. What the fuck's DNR? I don't know what DNR is. I don't think we can change it. I don't think we can make it so the screen's going to fit better. So we're going to have to just wing it. We're going to have to wing it. So what we're going to do is this. Try to go to this PC, which we can do. And we need to go to properties. We want to check device manager. To see what display we're showing on. Problem is I've got bloody keyboards in the way. I'm using the mouse the wrong way. So what? This is the problem. It's not recognizing my GTX 970. I think my GTX 970 in there is broken. But we're using the GT 710, which isn't brilliant, but hey, it works. Still do for now. We are splendiferously happy. So that is the only issue with that system. And I will shut it down now because there's no point of having it on with it not working properly. Oh, come on, give me aha. Let's see if we can just use this keyboard over here that I connected to bring up the window so I can shut the damn thing down. Where's the down shutty thing? Can't do it, can't find the shutdown button. Let's just press that button, that'll turn it off. Okay, so we're all good. My my glasses came. So I've got two sets of glasses here. They come in a really nice box. They used to come in those weird boxes that were like a clam and they shut down so hard and so fast. I used to hate those boxes for glasses. Now you don't often see me wearing glasses because my eyesight's pretty good still. So this pair, I bought the cheapest ones I could basically because I don't have money. So this pair is for when I work close up. This is for close up work. Anything up to about this side, they're brilliant. For close up work on computers and if I wanted to read. So those are my close up glasses in the green case. You may see me using them if I'm ever upstairs or downstairs and we're taking apart a computer and I want to see the little bits and pieces. This black case is my long distance ones, which I wear when I'm using my Quest Pro. They fit inside my Quest Pro perfectly and just make it slightly even more clear. So you're probably never going to see me wear these ones because even though I can use them here for the computer and that, my vision up to the size of this computer is fine. It's like 2 meters away. I've got thingy. But they're nice little glasses and they fit really well. So they came last week. The vets are going to come tomorrow, check on Beryl. Go Beryl. And Bertie, they're going to be giving both a check and we'll discuss how Beryl is. See what they think. I'm going to go by their expert opinion, not mine. So we'll shut down this monitor now, it's not used. So I'd like to connect this computer up with the big TV in the living room and just set it up as an Amiga kit. AMI kit system. My exploring the Linux. I must say Linux instead of Linux because Linux is wrong. It's Linux. I'm supposed to pronounce it as Linux, not Linux. Is basically through the Steam Deck. The Steam Deck is built on retro art. Built on Arch Linux. It's heavily customized, but it's still all open source and everything, and gets all. So that's all working fine. At the moment, my system is downloading onto itself. If you watch my video, you'd know, but we are downloading into the system at this moment in time. Let me just check. Oh, 213 games. And yeah, yes, you are caught. So 213 games are at the moment. We are on game number 40 of 213 games being installed on the Linux system. The Linux system. The Linux system. Not the Linux system. Not the Linux system, but the Linux system. And so once they're all installed, they're all being installed on an external drive, little external drive. And I want to test the actual performance. Because the thing is, I already run games on my micro SD, and the micro SD is limited to 130 megabytes a second. Now, even going through USB 3.1, a external SSD drive should be able to match that 130 megabytes. There'll be slightly more latency in that because it's going through an external dock. But it should actually be able to, I should be able to game on it. There should be no problem gaming on that system. So I've put all that on there. If this works okay, then I'm going to get myself a 8 terabyte mechanical drive, because 8 terabyte SSDs are like cost more than a computer. So an 8 terabyte mechanical drive you can get for £100, £150, £200. An 8 terabyte. Let's have a check on Amazon. Let's check on Amazon. And just check Amazon and see how much they've got a 8 terabyte SSD for. Let's look at the ludicrous amounts. 8 SSDs have come down in price a lot. So let's have a look. An 8 terabyte SSD. No, you're not an SSD. Oh, okay. So they've come down in price a lot. Actually, they have. Samsung do their QVO range, which is £450 for an 8 terabyte SSD. That's not bad at all these days. Yeah, but and a good quality. And the thing is this: even though SSDs mainly benefit operating systems, certain games can be benefited from it, but most benefit you will get from SSD is your operating system. Yeah. When it comes to games, it's the loading and that's quicker. I mean, if you've got a game like Sims 4 and you've fully loaded it with mods, or Skyrim VR and you've got 250 mods in it, you will see the noticeable improvement in loading the game and loading the textures and all that kind of thing. But as long as your system's got a lot of memory and it doesn't have to call on the basics. So the situation is this. What I'll do is this. We're going to just I'm just maneuvering something. Put that down there. We've moved things around and they shouldn't be like that. So yeah, games like that, which they're of the breed of games that actually they load textures on the fly. You don't, to make it look like you're in a freeform world that doesn't have loading zones. They load textures on the fly as you're actually going about. Their engine does that, which means if you're on a mechanical drive, you will notice the problem. But most games, you don't. So I'm going, because an actual mechanical drive through a USB 3.1 can hit between 40 and 120 megabytes a second in perfect conditions. So yes, I've played with the desktop panels. I like messing with stuff on here. It's nice. I can have 3 monitors connected to my Steam Deck. Well, I class it as 3, the internal display and 2 others. Sometimes this Grundig here is connected to the Steam Deck as well. This Steam Deck rocks. And I'm just, my auto-mounted stuff, auto-mounted my drive. I'm going to connect another drive and just test just whether or not, and first of all the external SSD, see how games performance is with that. Then see how an 8 terabyte mechanical drive, same kind of games, because a lot of my games, I don't know what that means, because everything on the Steam Deck is actually well updated. And what do we use for configure? All I'm using for mess with what I've got is no, not going to change anything. I'm going to leave it as SteamOS. Sorry, it's SteamOS. It works. No. I'm using RetroArt. Remember, it's Steam Deck, SteamOS, which is basically Linux. Linux. I said Linux. Sorry, I said Linux. Yeah. I'll show you my desktop and everything. Yeah, there we are. Yeah. We go here. We'll go on the action cam. The action cam shall be ready. Right, so the Steam Deck is there. As you can see, it looks very familiar for anybody who's using Linux, because it is Linux. The desktop mode is Linux, and it's connected to my secondary monitor there. So it is basically Arch Linux and all the normal stuff. Use Dolphin and all that kind of thing. It works really well. When you think all the stuff I put on it, it's a very powerful system. Let me just... Yeah, not that stripped down. There's not much missing at all. I haven't found anything missing. In fact, it does stuff like OBS better than Garuda did. Far better than Garuda. It handles stuff like OBS and all the... And I can install anything I want into it. Of course, we've got the access to the full... what is it on here? I believe it's the... Discover all the bits and pieces. I pretty much can grab anything I want. what's the updates for today? I haven't done my updates today, but I won't do them at the moment. Citra is going to be on Prime Hack. Space Cadet Pinball's got an update, and Prime Hack Local needs to be updated. There we are. Yeah. But it's really nice. It's a really nice introduction to Linux. It's a really nice introduction to Linux for someone, because people won't know that they're using Linux. They'll think they're just using a desktop and thing. And it gets you into all that because you're using KDE and everything. And it's very stable. It works very nice. I mean, there's certain things that Linux doesn't do as well that you have to tweak, like the auto mounting and plug and play stuff that you get in Windows. But it works. I mean, I can play my games on desktop mode or in the full screen mode of the actual OS when I kick it back to main screen. And its wireless system is rock solid. I'm using, like, I've got my wireless camera there. I use my action cam over here, which is also wireless. We kick ass. The system does. I think food's almost done as well. But yeah, we are having a good time. Munchies was wonderful last night. I was so tired last night. Oh my God, I was so wizzy. The thing is, when I'm tired, the control I have on my brain starts to slip, and I usually get very happy. I actually look like I'm drunk. I don't go. It doesn't usually go negative. So if I'm tired and I'm still up, I will get more hyper, more giggly, more funny, and more doing silly stuff, but not in a bad way. It doesn't usually, the darker side doesn't usually come out. So last night I was supposed to have a nap before going to thingy, and I didn't. Holly, hello, welcome, Holly. Holly's here. But instead of going to sleep, I built this computer system. I just sat in the middle of my room on the floor and took apart some parts and put them all together and got the screws out and everything and built it all up. But yeah, I think my 970 is dead. Yeah, sometimes the delay can be a pain in the ass, unfortunately, but not something I can fix from my side. Yay, Runya! Runya is awesome and wonderful and adorable. I definitely think Runya is adorable. Wonderful. Yay. Runya, 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 Runya. So yes, we are all here and alive and awake, and Serenexite. When I'll try to remember to do it. If you come on my stream later, I don't know if you'll be around later, and remind me on, and I will play some tower, and you can help me with it. I don't mind you helping with it, but don't tell me how to do stuff before I've tried to do it myself. I know you like to help, but I specifically like to try and discover stuff myself in a game. So don't start. I know it's hard because you want to give me lots of things. Ooh, you installed the Star Trek Online. Yay, lazy man. If you see me later on Star Trek Online, you can add me on there, and then we can add you to the fleet if you want. Oh, that beep, 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 beep means that we're having chicken and bacon pie with 2 hash browns, and we're having mashed potato and carrots with it. That's today's meal because I thought, why not? We'll have something slightly different. I like that. Yes, because Nico, you'd have to go through a tutorial. I know. So let's sort out that. I did manage to get a sleep. I did manage to get a better sleep last night. I went to bed about 5 o'clock, and it worked. Over here. Right, hash browns. Let's grab the hash brown. My hash brown. Add stuff. One hash brown. Two hash browns, and I'm going to have to bring the weight. Right. Pie is here. We have the two hash browns in the pie. Two hash browns in the pie. I'll show you properly one. It's all set up. We've got that. Have I always been in? I have played. This is my path. Okay, my first computer, my first console was a Binetto Master System Mark 4 or 6, which is, I've still got one upstairs. People have seen it. My first handheld was this. Was my first handheld, Galaxians Invaders. That was in the 1970s. Then I had a Atari 2600 console. After that, I went to a Sinclair ZX80, the one that you built. I built it myself, the ZX80, and then the ZX81. I had that. Then I had a Texas Instruments TI-99/4A. From the TI-99/4A, we went to Yay! We went from the TI-99/4A at the beginning of the 80s to the Spectrum. I went from the Spectrum 48K, Sinclair Spectrum 48K, then to the Sinclair Spectrum 128K with the built-in. Then from there, I went straight from there to the Atari ST. I didn't like the Atari ST, and so I switched from the Atari ST to the Amiga 500, just starting my love affair with the Amiga, which I still have an Amiga upstairs. So Amiga 500, Amiga 1200, Amiga CD32, Commodore CD32. Then from there, I jumped past. I didn't go Nintendo. I didn't like Nintendo right from the start. Although I loved Pokemon. So from the Amiga, at the same time, I got the Sega Mega Drive, which was gorgeous. I loved the Sega Mega Drive. The Atari Lynx handheld, the Jaguar, Atari Jaguar. I went that direction instead of going the Nintendo way. And then I got the PS, the 3DO, which was another failed console. Then from the 3DO, we went on the PS2, PlayStation 2. And then we got the PlayStation 1 because we had missed out on the PlayStation 1. So we had a PlayStation 1 and PlayStation 2, me and Paola did. Then we had PCs, and we had a 286. I built my first one, which was a 386, 486. Then I went into the Athlon stuff all the way through. And I've had Xbox, of course, Xbox Original, Xbox 360, Xbox One. Went all the way through up to the Xbox One, which was the last one. I sold that because I didn't use it yet as much. Mainly I played Forza. Morning, Penguin. And at that point, I also had PlayStation 1, 2, 3, 4. PlayStation 4 was the last one I got because I got rid of my PlayStation 4 because I wasn't using it. I got rid of my PS Vita because my Steam Deck here does all my emulation for that kind of things. And so, yeah, mainly PC. I cook all my meals. Yes, I do. I have to. Yay, you got your mic. I have to cook all my meals because there's no one else here to do so. And we're going to do the mashed potatoes. We've got a pie and 2 hash browns, and we're going to have mash and carrots and gravy with it. So that's going to be the meal. So yeah, I'm mainly PC. First of all, I don't like first-person games or first-person shooters on consoles. I hate them because I prefer mouse and keyboard. I was brought up mouse and keyboard. So if you ask me to play a first-person shooter on a console, I hate them. Horrible. And But so I'm much more on consoles. I'm much more into role play games, or stuff like Silent Hill, things like that. Yeah. So yeah, I am primarily PC. Although think about it, the Steam Deck is a console. The Steam Deck is a console. It is a handheld console, and it is also a desktop with Linux. So therefore, I'm doing all this on the Steam Deck. If I show you, for those that have just come in, let's show the on the thing. So you can see the Steam Deck is there on its dock with the chat showing up on there, and it is running as external monitor for OBS, and my camera is connected to a mic. So the Steam Deck can be a handheld console, a TV console. You can cast it to a TV, or you can use it as a desktop, which I'm using at the moment as a desktop. So yeah, I use a console every day. If we class the Steam Deck as a console, which it is, even though it kicks ass as everything else. The Steam Deck isn't perfect for you, Nico, because first of all, it's completely open source. So you can mess with any part of it, and I know you'd love that. And it's the Linux console we all wanted. It plays nearly all PC games. If you break it, they'll repair it. If you break it, they'll thing it. I mean, there's such a lot. I fix it. It is very easy to take apart and put back together. I'm going to do some videos on that next year. Not next year, later this year. Yeah. Silent Hill, the original Silent Hill on the PlayStation 1 was awesome. The sound effects when you've got the radio and the weird sounds come through and the evil, nasty things come. Original Silent Hill is a bit freaky and it's awesome. Okay, I'm just going to get the stuff here. Got the gravy. Half an hour. Yeah, I always try to cook. It's a skill everybody should have, cooking your own meals. And what happens? We all know these days that the world isn't as wonderful as we thought it was and more stable. You could think about it. The food's coming along really well. The carrots and mixed veg are ready. I'll do the potatoes in a bit. We all know that the world isn't as stable as we thought it was. If you go back to 2019, no one could have imagined anything affecting somewhere like America or Europe or the UK, or having less stuff in the aisles in your local store. But we all now know that with COVID and with the war in Ukraine and all that kind of thing, things can and with the fragile nature of logistics, you can end up in a situation where you can't buy food, where you can't get the things you would normally do, where your takeout doesn't have what you'd like anymore. We are getting into the situation where you could be in a situation where you should always have between a week and a month's worth of food in your house. I believe that everybody should have at least a week or a month's worth of food in your house, just in case things go bad, just in case there's another lockdown, just in case World War III, just in case we've seen how fragile the logistics system is and how things can affect the logistics system that we use in the world in general. It's pure ego to think that you're always going to have stuff. I've got a cupboard there full of tinned food. Yeah, how stupid Putin is, and will he actually press the button? We all hope he won't, but he's bloody crazy. He's done things that are completely stupid, and we don't know how far he's going to go. We have no idea. So I have 70. I have something like 180 litres of fresh water in water containers in my house, and I have large amount of ramen noodles and stuff like that. I've probably got 2 months worth of food for me and my dog if food stopped coming to my house right now. If I was intelligent, if I took it very calmly and thingy, I have enough food, and I have my Berkey, which is just here, which actually filters water for me. You can even put rainwater or anything else through it. No? Yeah, I'm prepared for it with the ramen. Yeah, there's like 80. That ramen in the corner, that's got like, each one's got 80 packs of ramen. I love ramen. Ramen's one of the things that I can't eat pasta anymore, but I can have ramen. And so, yeah, I always think it isn't crazy. It isn't crazy these days to be prepared. It's like I have in every room of my house, I have a torch, just in case the power goes out. I have backup computers in case my computer gets damaged. Just like insuring yourself for those things. Why would you not these days? Because we always thought living in, if you live in a third world country, we always thought up until 2019 that we couldn't be touched, really. We really did. It was this naive thing. We had butter mountains, we had oat mountains, we had wheat mountains, we had so much food that it was going to waste. And it's only 5 years later and everything's gone to hell. I'll ask for the veg after that. This is going to be for 2 meals, this is. The way you can tell that the system is more fragile than before is if you think about 2019, think about in 2019 how you had like 12 different types of baked beans at your local supermarket and about 15 different types of flour, 20 different types of butter, and so on and so forth. You'll notice that these days there's less variety. Still get the same stuff, but there's less different amounts of them, and they've gone up in price. That shows the strain that the system is in under. They're still trying to provide you all the stuff, but they're actually having issues. And it's a wake-up call to look after themselves. After all, I have a solar panel in the backyard. I can power my Steam Deck and everything, and my phones and everything if I need to by a single 280 watt solar panel in the backyard. Put some of these in here. We didn't have one on there. Yeah. If you can plant your own foods, if you can do all that, that's always awesome. Being able to do these things, being able to training yourself to be able to change fuses, fix computers, know how to generate electricity, all these kind of skills we should have because we're not in the secure world we used to. We have no idea what's happening next. See, I tell you what's going to happen. If Putin does decide, I can tell you the war plan, exactly how he's going to do it. It isn't that I'm omniscient or anything, but I know what he'll do. So I can tell you after I've just done all this. Let me sort all this. Let me get the mash wrap because we're going to have mashed potatoes. Remember, if you cook potatoes, always leave the skin on. Even if you're going to have them in mash, always leave the skin on, because the skin on potatoes and the skin on carrots carry most of the actual goodness. Most of the actual goodness of potatoes is in the skin. So if you remove the skin from potatoes, you're removing most of the goodness. So I always do mash and that. So mashing it up with my super masher. I'll show you the food once it's all set up and done. Got potatoes on there. The rest of the in there, because some of the food will be going to a stew or something later, or a risotto. So it goes, oil goes to the dogs. So let's get this gravy. The rest of the gravy in there. And there we are. All that stuff. So I'll show you what that looks like. Like meal. There. My lunch. So yeah, I was going to tell you basically how the war in Ukraine will go if it goes badly. If it goes to a nuclear war, even a limited tactical situation, a clothes washer. I don't have a dishwasher. I have to do it all by manual hand, of course. So if the war does kick off, the first thing that he will do is fire off. Haven't you noticed that they've been launching satellites? Both China and Russia have launched satellites. These satellites are of a specific kind. They're actually a weapon. No, they're not to fire at the Earth or anything like that. What they will do is they're just a grenade, basically. They'll explode in orbit and send out shrapnel, which will hit other satellites and destroy other satellites, and those other satellites will explode, and little bits of them will fly through at 9,000 miles an hour and hit some more satellites, and basically all satellite coverage will be trashed and completely destroyed within the first minutes of the European war. That's the first thing that'll be done. Scary that both China and Russia has these things up in orbit, but they do, sadly. They are basically just little bombs, and if they get attacked, they basically nuke our GPS and nuke most of the satellites. The sad thing is that will also create an almost impenetrable barrier, and we won't be able to leave the planet after that for a very long time, because we'll have these little bits of satellites that will cause a chain reaction. That one satellite hits another satellite, that satellite splits into little bits and hits 3 satellites. Those 3 satellites hit another 5 satellites, and so on and so forth. Within like a day, satellites are raining down, and we've lost all of that kind of intel. Then Russia will take out the North Atlantic undersea cables that connect America, Europe, and thingy for data for your internet, where most of your internet comes from. And so that is those are the intelligent things that will be done. Horrible things, but it's what they would do. And that will mean we will lose connection with America. We'll have to go back to actually fast planes to carry information. and radio transmissions and normal radios and all that, and will have to be used. We'll have to go old school for intel, and that's when the nukes on Ukraine and that will be dropped and things like that. Unfortunately, if it goes down, that's what Putin will do, or some version of that. He may be crazy, he may be an idiot, but he's KGB, he's FSB, he's old school intel, and he's still got that kind of ruthless thing. In that way, yeah. The nukes aren't a last resort. You don't understand. Cablecat, if you think nukes are the last resort, you haven't read Russian military doctrine. Russian military doctrine see nuclear attacks, especially tactical nuclear attacks, as a viable thing, because they still think, Russian military still thinks that the West won't fire our nukes. Think of it this way. Cablecat. You're sitting in your nice, comfy world, and you're all nice and happy, and everything's going fine. And Russia fires one tactical nuclear weapon into Ukraine. What do? Do you retaliate with nukes? Because if you retaliate with nukes, you know that Russia will retaliate with nukes. Or do you retaliate with military? No, they won't, Cablecat. No, they won't. It won't be an instant thing. It will not be an instant thing, because they've always got to think is this. If Russia fires a nuke into Ukraine, then we could instantly retaliate with nukes. But if we do, then the only path from that point in time is complete world destruction. If NATO pulls back and if NATO pulls back, even if they hit a NATO country with a nuke, even though it's the doctrine that we should, there will be people who will say, okay, let's try military instead, because if they fire a nuke at you and you fire another one back at them, first of all, you've got to remember, if Putin fires one nuke, 90% of his country is going to rebel against him and kill him. That's a simple fact. So, if he fires a nuke, if he goes to that point of crazy of firing a nuke, then his own people will kill him. If we fire nukes in return and don't hold our hand for at least a little bit and not take it to complete annihilation, then there's a better chance. And all of these things scenarios will be worked out by them. They won't automatically, even though it says in the actual NATO document, Article 5, that if you attack one country, you attack us all, and if you do this, we'll do that. No one actually wants to be the one who continues that, because we know that if we launch a nuclear missile back, that's the whole point. He may die before it happens. But unfortunately, some of the generals are even worse than him. Some of the people that will take control are even more hardline and more likely to use nukes. That's a sad thing. So just because he fires a nuke does not mean we're guaranteed that we will fire a nuke back. Because it's the escalation after that first nuke that's the danger. Firing a nuke is horrible. But when you start tit for tat with nukes, very soon it runs away from you and the entire world is toast. And we don't have a spare world. So even the most crazy generals, except for Putin, will know that this is a bad thing. So it's much more likely that it's going to be a tactical exchange. He will hit Ukraine. NATO forces will destroy his Black Sea fleets and things like that. Yeah. There's lots of dumb people. But Trump was dumber. Let's face it, Trump was dumber. Choice between Biden and Trump, I'd pick Biden every single day of the week. Sorry, I would. Choice between Trump and Biden, I would go with Biden every single day of the week. Oh, God. Trump is one of the biggest liars in the world, and he doesn't care about anyone. He's got such an ego. He's good in business, but should not be leading a country ever. Should never be leading a country. Yeah, the economy, the business, but not the actual people. Yeah, but at least he's a man. He's not an ego-ridden asshole. We'll stop that talk there, but if Trump gets back into power, then the US is going to have so many problems, and I mean real problems. Quote me on that in 3 or 4 years. Yeah. Trump, people think Trump is like the second coming, and it's like crazy. We need someone else in power, someone more stable. And yes, Biden's getting a bit old. We do need someone else. But yeah. Okay. So I'm going to eat now. You are all awesome. I will talk to you later. It is Sunday. Yay. Yeah, we do need someone better. Someone more level-headed. Someone a bit calmer. And someone who can remember where they put their shoes. So yeah, I'll admit, it's an imperfect choice. The choice between Biden and Trump isn't really a choice at all. It's just the best of what we've got. Because we don't have much. We've got crazy shit. So, bye-bye for now, you wonderful special people. I will go and eat.